All right, hello. So right now we have two people that join and other in the room, and I will give the permission for somebody else to keep adding people. Also, this session is recorded, so what we will do at the end of the sessions, we will kind of break it down for pieces so we can let people to view the parts that they're interesting to basically to understand better. Let me finish here the process. All right, and give permissions. Okay. All right. So that part has been done. All right. So let's first understand what is it that we're going to talk about today. We're going to cover a few stuff. First, we're going to cover what has been changed and why. We'll cover what the current status of those changes, where are we standing. We will talk about when the product will be launched. Then we'll also talk about when the token himself will be launched. We'll cover a few stuff around what are the marketing plans are. And during that session, between and after, we will also touch base with the questions that we have. We have a list of questions that we will basically cover them all. If somebody will add a real-time question right now, I may not see it, but whatever been added already, it will be covered. We will not talk about today about all the projects that in quantum finance. We'll pretty much stick with stuff that's related around smart. So we'll talk about smart, degen, damper shield, PDO, direct stuff that basically needed to launch it and stuff that's working with that. So they kind of will give the full picture. So let's start by talking about first what has been changed and why. And I will make sure that everybody will be muted. All right.
Let's go.
We are going. All right. So, okay. So let's start to talk about what has been changed and why. First thing first, when we built the smart swap, back then it was designed to solve liquidity issues on the blockchain when it comes to cross-chain. And when we started to build it, there was no much cross-chain technology out there, at least not decentralized one. And instead of focusing on solving liquidity issues and improve that, we basically took ourselves the mission to also build a cross-chain by ourselves, a decentralized one. Now, building a cross-chain decentralized technology, it's extremely costly, extremely taking time, and it's not really easygoing. Just in the last year or two, you can see that almost every cross-chain, including multi-chain yesterday, been hacked. And we're talking about billions over billions that have been hacked. And the reason for that is because the way that cross-chain has been designed is that the component that basically doing the breach himself, it's a server side. And since it's a server side, it's vulnerable. It's not decentralized. So what that means is that once you have a project and it's really scaling, there will incentive for bad actor to basically attack you and steal that money. And we try to build something that is completely decentralized, and we actually succeed to do that, and we even provide kind of a beta between BNB through Ethereum to Polygon, and we showed that we able to move between native token to native token in a very decentralized way. It took us a lot of time to do that, but at the time that we finished to do that, we also realized a few stuff. Number one is that other cross-chain in the market been built, but they didn't been built as decentralized. They've been built either fully centralized or hybrid of centralized. And they gain a lot of traction, right? Like bill and daily trading or whatever, they already been there and they've been known and everybody started using them. And when we investigated what's going on, I mean, 3 years ago, everybody talked about decentralized, and suddenly nobody really cared about decentralized at all. And we realized during our investigation that users have a different needs. So when users want to move from token in chain A to token in chain B, they don't really care if it's decentralized or not decentralized. What they really care is, number one, is the fast, how fast the transaction will take. So if somebody will have 20-minute time waiting versus instantly, they will prefer the instantly as a first priority. And that's because when people moving from token to token, usually they do that because they think that the other token himself or maybe can be used to buy other token, and it will be used as an investment vehicle.
Hey, Yoda, the sound is off. Can't hear you.
Can you hear me now?
Yeah, I can hear you now.
All right, cool. So I will go a few seconds back and say one thing that we realize is that user preferred speed, cost, and then at the end they pay attention, if any, to if it's a decentralized or not decentralized. And what we discovered is that in the user mind, it's like they're operating in daily basis against bank. So for example, with bank, we all know that bank potentially can have run on the bank, right? Theoretically, the money can be gone. But when we put our money in the bank, we don't think it will happen to us and not today, right? Even though the potential is there. So same thing happening with the cross-chain. People know that it potentially can be hacked, but they don't think that they will be the victim or it will happen to them and it will happen today. So what that means for us? That means that basically when we build smart, and invest a lot of time and effort to build something, we also realize that it's not really scalable in the way that we build it, because it's designed to kind of do something with third-party and centralized exchanges, and they're not really designed to work well. They have tons of issues, and we try it and we change it and we pivot that, and we realize that even if we build something that is decentralized, it's not really scalable, which means we'll not be able to support billions of dollars trading if suddenly they will coming in the door. And that's basically caused us to think furthermore and say, okay, let's assume for a second that there will be a lot of cross-chain, right? A lot of bridge out there. Some of them will be centralized, some of them will be decentralized, some of them will be one token to the end token, some of them will be wrap token. So let's say there will be all kind of them, right? Some of them will be big, small. Now, what have in common for all those cross-chains is that they're all going to take time. And the reason that they're going to take time is because if you're moving money from Ethereum to Bitcoin or Bitcoin to BNB or BNB to Polygon, when you're moving between cross-chain, especially if you're moving between different network of cross-chain, so for example, Cosmos versus Ethereum or Ethereum versus Bitcoin, the time waiting, right, will not be instant. It cannot be instant. It can never be instant. And that's because if it will be instant, chain can basically run 51% attack on the other chain and basically steal the money and take it back. So every chain, if you remember 3 years ago, Polygon lost all their money. They lost completely $800 million of funding because that issue. And since then, they decided that when you're moving from different chain, they want to see how many block pass before they basically approve that your money is safe and acceptable. So what he's telling you is that some chain will be, if they're in the same network, let's say an Ethereum network, they may be faster. It could be 2 minutes, 5 minutes around that neighborhood. But if you go in between different neighborhoods, let's say you go to Cosmos network or Bitcoin, that's going to play a lot in the next year or two, you're going to see a lot of smart contract going to be operated on Bitcoin in sidechains involved. So what that means, moving between Bitcoin to Ethereum or Polygon or Polkadot, that can take 10 minutes, that can take 20 minutes. Sometimes it can take an hour or two, right? So this issue is not going away. It's here and it's here to stay. And we took a new challenge to basically solve that issue in a new way. And I will explain how. Another thing that we decided is that we don't want to be a cross-chain anymore. We don't want to build cross-chain. We don't want to maintain cross-chain because it's like a thief and a police. You know, each one of them try to overcome each other, and it's never ended. The thief have incentive to steal. The police have incentive to catch them. And wherever the money is, eventually there is incentive for bad actors. So we decided that we don't want to touch money at all, which means our system will not going to hold money. Our system is not going to have reserve of money. We're not going to have any pools. We're not going to have any liquidity. We're going to operate in a way that even if somebody will hack in some way, there is nothing to steal, right? And I will show and share my screen in a second more. Now, on top of that, basically solving the speed between cross-chain, we also want to provide to the user something new. And here is when I will share my screen, and I will share, if you will go, by the way, to smart.exchange, you will be able to see the new UI, right? And basically, the new UI of Smart is no longer exchange or cross-chain. You'll see it's a different, basically, language. We basically built something new, which is layer 2 of a virtual wallet. So what that means is that everybody has its own wallet. Let's say you have MetaMask, or you have Trust Wallet. So the security of your wallet is going to stay with whatever provider you chose, right? But once you will basically have a layer 2 virtual wallet, and that's the first of its kind, by the way, you will have ability to deposit money into your own layer 2 wallet, but it will be secured from security point of view with your own private key, which means you're the only one that have access to that. It's completely decentralized and self-custody. Now, by depositing money to your own wallet, what we can do here, it's amazing stuff. Number one, we can basically compensate users with reward. They can basically do farming and accumulate more token of the token that they have, and I will explain in a second how, as a self-custody, which means if today you have tokens on MetaMask, you don't earning anything by holding them. But in your virtual wallet, you will be able to earn more tokens, and I will explain how. Another thing that we'll be able to do is basically to allow user to use their virtual wallet in order to create something new as a new type of market making. Because you have a wallet, virtual wallet, that means that theoretically you can place limit orders, but without placing them. So imagine yourself that when you go to, let's say you go to Binance and you're a market maker. If you're a market maker on Binance, you need to actually put orders in the order book and you need to lock your money, right? And if you're doing it in decentralized environment, it's very costly because every time you basically placing money in the order book or removing that because the market changed, it costs you gas and cost, and it's killed the idea of market making on decentralized platform. But with the virtual wallet, you can basically place order, limit order as much as you like without paying gas, without paying fee, and only when the actually transaction will take place, when your order will be accepted, then it will be basically called from your virtual wallet and take the money from there. So theoretically, if we will integrate an AI technology, not that we built, we don't want to get into the AI and build AI. I'm sure there is other application out there that capable to be integrated to that. If we will allow people to basically integrate their own AI, or maybe we'll find a provider for that, theoretically, you can automatically place order, limit order as a market maker and do arbitrage without spending fees and gas, and only use the money when it's actually needed. And until then, you accumulate APY and reward from holding it in your virtual wallet. Now, besides that, the layer 2 is also reducing swap cost, and I will show you in a second how. And we talked about the expedite. And not only that, we also decided that the entire layer 2, the virtual wallet, will be a one-stop shop. And what I mean by that is then when Steve Jobs decided to build the iPhone, he didn't decide to build a phone. Phone was existed for a very long time. And what he decided to do is that instead of you to have your notebook and you have a calendar and you have other stuff around you, he decided to put everything in one device. So you will have a one-stop shop to organize your life. And that's exactly what we did with the layer 2. So the layer 2 is basically will come as an extension, or it will come as a cell phone app. Right now, it's available. If you will go to install the Smart Exchange, you will be able to click on it. It will take you right now to the beta. and you will be able to install the beta, right, on your browser. And what that means is that once the beta will be installed, it will look like that, right? It will be on your site, and it will be open every time you will go to DeFi protocol. If you will go to exchanges, decentralized exchanges, any place that you're supposed to do transaction, it will pop up for you and show you a better price, and I will show you that in real time. Now, besides that, you have obviously ability to organize your entire stuff. So for example, if you will come over here and decided that you want to add more icons, right, to your stuff. So let's say I want to add, CoinGecko, right? So if I will add in CoinGecko, right, basically I will have the app of CoinGecko. I can keep it over here. I can put it under different tabs. I can change the name. I can add more shortcuts, or I can place it here on the side, right? And basically it will be kind of organized for me every time I want to go to CoinGecko. One click on that will take me to CoinGecko. Now, beside that, what I also can do here on the extension is not just having all my shortcuts in one place, but also I can organize an app. And what I mean by that is that we're going to bring all the apps that exist on App Store, sorry, not App Store, on Play Store, Google Play Store. All of them will be here. And what it will allow you to do is to basically add them by one click to wherever you want. And by doing it like that, I will show you an example of how it will look like. But it's still under development, this part. See if I can see it here for you. That's the post. Okay, so you probably can see it maybe here. If you will go here, you may see it. That's an example of screenshots. So basically, you can add your icon, your app that you have. We don't need anybody to build a special app. Actually, if the app exists on Google Play, it will exist on your extension, and you will be able to add as many as you like. And by adding them, they will be built inside of your extension, and you will be able to use them. So if you have an app that, I don't know, follow other people's wallet, or you have an app that's showing you how bullish the Bitcoin is, or you have an app that's showing you YouTube clips of your favorite influencer. So imagine to yourself that you don't know Zillion Babylon, you don't need any more Zillion Babylon Windows, a browser, you have extension, and you can basically do that. And if you need alert, you can also set alert to basically let it pop up when news coming in, or when opportunity coming in, or if you want to analyze something. So it will be kind of a one-stop shop. Now, on top of that, we're also going to implement ability to do kind of a Gmail, but between decentralized Gmail. Imagine yourself that somebody have a wallet, but you want to stay anonymous. So you will be able to text people, right? And receive text between other people, wallet to wallet. So you don't need to know what's the name of the person. You can actually send information for one person to another. And that's something that we're implementing right now. And it will be kind of, I think, the first decentralized email that will allow you to interact between wallets like that. It's completely free, beside obviously the gas cost that you will bear. So basically, this is the extension. And if we will see example, right? Let's say I'm going to Uniswap, right? So if I will go to Uniswap, and I will want to do a swap, right? So let's say I go to Uniswap and I'm choosing, I don't know, BNB to USDT to see what's going on here. So basically the idea, let me see if I'm logging in. One chain, all right. First that. So every time you'll go to exchange like Uniswap, you will be able to basically get that pop-up that will try to find you a better prices. It will not give you less than what you get. It will find you better than what you get. So every time you will do that, I will show you here a few examples. So let's say I'm going to do, let's start from each. So I change for each first. Right. So let's say I do each USDT. Right. And let's see what Uniswap is giving us, right? And what the Smart giving us, right? So Smart given better price than Uniswap, right? If I will try to go between, let's say, USDT to 1 inch, for example. Here I interrupt. I'm not supposed to interrupt. 1 second, 1 inch USDT, but we want the other way around. That's fine too. Say we want $1,000. 1 inch. Let's see what we get. Now everything is still kind of under development, so you will see it more and more improve when we keep adding more and more integration to that. But eventually it will cover all the because it's driving, the price is driving from Degen, and I will talk about Degen in a second. Right now we don't cover everything on Degen, but you will see eventually that you will cover everything that exists in the market. So it will be obviously all the time better price. Here you can see it's still better price than Uniswap. If I will go instead of even, let's try Uni. Let's try it in Uni, because Uni is the official token of Uniswap. So let's say I want to do it to Uni. And let's see here. Oh, ETU, sorry. Because there is no issue here. Right, so you can see that even Uniswap, that they have the Uni token, we basically display better price than Uniswap himself for the own token, right? Now, if I will go from, let's say instead of Uniswap, I will go to, I don't know, let's go to DeFi Llama, which they're claiming that they are aggregator without cost, which means they're claiming that there is no cost at all, right? So let's assume for a second that I'm going from it to 1 inch on DeFi Llama, and let's open Degen. And I will basically, here I'm not using the extension DeFi Llama because we didn't get integrated to pop up. So I want to take the price directly from Degen just to compare. So here it's Ethereum network. We'll go on Ethereum. Yeah, Ethereum. What was it? 8 and 1 inch. So let's say 8 and how much was it? 10. So 10, 8, right? So here we have basically compared to the DeFi Llama that is an aggregator without any fee at all. you can see here that here they're presenting basically 60,276, and Degen presenting better price than that aggregator. If I will go to actually 1inch himself, which is also an aggregator, right? And let's see what's going on over there in 1inch. I wonder if we will do on 1inch, actually 1inch, right? Like the on token, because that's supposed to be a very good price for the on token. Let's say kind of 10 inch for 1inch. So here it's 303, and we still present a better price than 1inch himself, right? Now, if we will go to cross chain, let's say Sushi, right? Sushi has a cross chain. Let's say we go to Sushi Swap. And we're going to do cross chain. So let's say we're doing cross chain. Let's do where's the cross chain? Here we go. So let's say we're doing actually ETH and arbitrage, right? So let's see what's going on here. Now you need to remember that a lot of cross chain do not really give you the end token that you're looking for. They sometimes give you wrap ETH on Arbitron or wrap ETH on BNB. So that's something that's happening a lot, but not here. So here we basically have the ability to give the end token himself. So that will be which token we're looking for. We're looking for connect wallet. So it will just it's displaying without connecting it. That's fine. Okay, here. And how much was it? 10 each, right? Let's see when it comes to cross-chain, how Degen basically, and Degen and Smart extension basically driving the same prices, but I will touch base in a second when it comes to the cross-chain itself as expedite. So you can see here that when I go to Uniswap as a cost chain is presenting 50,954, and Degen presents 60,720, right? So basically, the idea was to build a technology that not only brings all the prices, but also do inside work in order to optimize those prices, meaning the smart contract do not going to choose the best DEX or the best aggregator or the best whatever, is going also to break the order on the same transaction and send it to different direction in order to optimize the price. Meaning that if you want to swap from, let's say, ETH to ARB, but direct swap will bring you 50,946. Maybe by going from ETH to BNB and BNB to USDT and USDT to ARB will bring you by far better than basically that price. So a lot of cross-chain do not really do that. They just have cross-chain, and most of them have just wrap token on the other side, which means you still need to stack the wrap token. Hopefully, the exchange didn't hack during that time, and your wrap token was worthless. But then you still need to take that wrap token and go to another DEX and swap that wrap token to the destination token that you're really looking for, right? So I showed you basically the idea of how Degen work and how basically the extension, the new Smart works. So the idea of the Smart is, like I said, it'd be like a smartphone. So you have like one place, one-stop shop that all your life, all your crypto life, news, pop-up alerts, following other people when they're moving money, you can have alert, everything, texting to each other like a Gmail, decentralized Gmail, everything that you need, everything will be organized in one place. And every time that you will go to exchange, let's say you go to Uniswap, SushiSwap, it will pop up. And what I'm trying to say by that, I don't want people to come to exchange to move it from token A to token B. I want every time they're about to do transaction to basically pop up them a better offer. Now we kind of use that idea. If some of you remember or familiar with this application over here, this application called Rakuten. So Rakuten is basically an idea that every time you're about to go buy something, let's say you go to buy a computer, right? They will pop up for you the same brand, not something else, the same brand with this different price, which means they don't try to solicit at you to buy a computer. They try to hijack your transaction because you're about to buy a computer and they may save you $100, right? So that's why they are a multi-billion-dollar company, because they're basically helping people to get more than what they already need or want and about to do. And same thing the smart will do. It will be extremely smart to work with you as a one-stop device that will serve you whenever you're about to do something. It will pop up and offer you a better price. Now let's talk about the extension from, let's talk about the expedite concept, right? Because that's a very powerful solution that will change the game when you're doing a cost gen, right? So what that means is that imagine yourself that user park money in their own wallet, right? Their own virtual wallet. So let's say a lot of people park Ethereum, or they park Uniswap, or they park Shiba. Now, what that means is that if suddenly there is a user that want to move from chain A to chain B, right? Let's say you want to sell ETH, but you want to buy Shiba, right? So not only that you want to do cross-chain, but you also want to sell the BNB or the wrap ETH and buy Shiba. You don't want to end up with wrap ETH. You want to end up with Shiba. That's your end goal as a user, right? So here you have two transactions. Once you need to cross-chain, then you need to take the wrap token and buy Shiba. And second, so it's kind of a lot of clicks and a lot of gas and fees. But second, you also have time consuming, because there is the network that need to wait for 51% attack. So it can be a few minutes up to even more, depending from where you're crossing. Now, what if you can have an expedite ability? What if by crossing, let's say I want to cross from, Polygon to BNB, and I want to on Polygon, I want to take I don't know, whatever token, even this one, and I want to move to something else, which is like we say SHIB, right? So let's say I want to move from here to here, right? So by doing that, right, let me change back to BNB. Right. So basically, by moving from
Hey Yoda.
Yep.
Is the beta not working? Because I was trying to do it with you and mine's
Yeah,
not working.
some of them, if you will test it on some chain, it will work. Some of them will continue to work during that. We tried in the last 48 hours to add as many as possible, but some of them working, some of them not yet. So if you will try to go from, for example, let me tell you which network already exists. So it's bringing the prices and everything, right, in real time. But if you actually want to do cross, you can do BNB, Polygon, Avalanche. It may show you those stuff. Which network am I? BNB, smart, BNB. So the main idea is that once you're doing cross-chain, there is here an expedite ability, right? So what it will do, it will show you basically, do you want to proceed as is, or do you want to expedite the order? Now I want to explain what is expedite meaning. Expedite meaning that if you want to give away token A, doesn't matter which one, and you want to receive, let's say, Shiba on Binance Smart Chain, what will happen, the layer 2 virtual wallet will basically take Shiba from users, right, that park virtual wallet, give you Shiba immediately, right away. And then what will happen after a few minutes, when your original transaction will send to the cross-chain and then sold and then by Shiba, it will deposit back to those users the original Shiba. So they basically get the same token, right? There is no sell here. There is no tax trigger. They're getting the same token that they gave it to you, but with delay of few minutes, but they will get more. Why they get more? Because when you expedite, there is a cost. If you don't expedite, there's the traditional cost that usually CrossChain and exchanges have. But if you want to expedite, there is expedite cost. And basically that brings more money to the virtual wallet holders, right? So that's, we call it basically decentralized arbitrage. So every time basically you want to expedite, that's what will happen. Token will be given to you instantly, and your original token will give to whoever gave it to you after a few minutes, right? So you can call it it's not flash loan, but it's short loans, right? That basically give to those users more money. So what that means for you as a user? That means for you as a user that if the CrossChain crash, right? Let's say the CrossChain in the second that you've done it, it's been hacked and go under, you don't have a risk. The risk being buried by the user that expedited for you. So that's the only risk that they're taking. And what that means for you, if you're coming from Bitcoin or Ethereum and Polkadot and Cosmos, instead of waiting 5 to 3, half an hour, depending where you're coming from, you will have instantly the end token that you're looking for. And those that expedite you will get the same token plus extra for the fees after a few minutes, half an hour, and an hour, right? When the original transaction will be finished. So that's the expedite idea of the CrossChain. So not only that it gives you the best prices, same chain and CrossChain, but also it basically will allow you to expedite. Now, since the vault basically allow user to deposit money to the vault, you need to take under consideration that we do not have any security here, which means we are relying on the security of your own wallet. So whatever it is, if you're good with this security, if you're good with MetaMask security, that's the same security, right? And we do not hold anything. We don't have pool, we don't have custody, we don't hold anything. You're holding it in your own smart contract as a self-custody, which means you can anytime call the money, and only you can call the money, right? Because it's your own private key. So that's why it's extremely safe. And when you do that, basically getting more and more money when you park in your money in your own vault, because it's working for you. Either it's working automatically when people expedite, or you decided that you want to go and become to be a market maker and you want to place virtual order manually, automatically using an AI, and it will basically only going to execute those orders when the order will be take place, right? Josh, did you try to say something?
Yeah, I was just because I mean I was trying to do it on Uniswap with Ethereum, and it just says the network is
Don't use
Ethereum.
Ethereum yet. So use I read back to you which one is available right now. You can use Polygon, BNB, and Avalanche. So Binance, Polygon, Avalanche. In a few days, we'll add Ethereum and everything else. We have we need to add a lot, so it's a little bit take time. You see all those chains, we have access to all of them already with all the prices and everything, because they are the same one that we have on Degen, right? So as you can see, we cover all those chains, but we also need to extra mile with the extension. So if you will go to the chain that I say, you will be able to actually swap stuff immediately. And in a few days, we'll keep adding more and more and more. So by the end of the month, you will have all of them up and running.
All right.
Right now, you need to take under consideration that the extension is alpha beta, right? So we work very fast in order to use technology that we already built and kind of pivot that into a new direction. A lot of stuff not yet available, but as we work, we will continue to add them, but we will not work as a waterfall. We will not wait until everything will be ready. Every time something ready, we'll push that on daily basis, so it will be available for you. So some of the stuff available immediately, some of them will be continued to be added on daily basis, but it can be good to go right away in order to start using it as is and try to enjoy from that. All right, so let's move on. By the way, the Degen that you see over here, same thing. We already implement a lot of smart contract behind it, and a lot of Degen is basically it's not just an aggregator. It's everything. It's aggregator to aggregator. It's basically multi-chain. It's a cross-chain. It's basically breaking the order, like I said, in many ways. So it's unlikely that you may find a better price out there after we'll finish to integrate everything. Even now, it's hard to find better prices out there. And if you find any, we will immediately integrate those smart contracts, so we'll have same price. So the way that Degen works is that there is a fee, right? But the fee is dynamic, which means if there is any price in the market that is far below Degen, Degen will take a fee, right? Like 0.1%. But if there is no better price, Degen will reduce the fee, even if necessary, all the way to 0, which means you will never going to have better price. You may have the same price in some places, but never better, right? And that's the idea of Degen, basically to be a place that you can get the best price in the market. And since he's doing what I said with the cross-chain and everything, and he's also going to work later on with limit order with the extension, that means it will be able to perform by far better than aggregator that exists out there in the market, like 1inch or SushiSwap and all those. It will be by far better because it will be able to break the order and do limit order and break the order and bring it and flip them between many cross-chain and multi-chain. So the end goal will be cheaper and faster. All right. Let's talk about the Damper Shield, because Smart and Degen basically exist on the Damper Shield right now. So a lot of people basically don't know what is the Damper Shield is, but I want to be clear about it. You may saw a lot of exchanges out there. You may saw a lot of decentralized exchanges out there. But how many exchanges did you see for a vesting token? There is not even one, right? And what's happening, it's crazy because when token launch, usually all the new tokens in the market, the majority of the token is under vesting, right? The majority. It's not like Ethereum that is already mature and most of the tokens out. Most of the new projects, the majority of the tokens, they're under vesting. Now, what everybody is doing in the last 2-3 years is basically doing vesting schedule, which means they lock in the token for a period of time, 6 months, 9 months, 12 months, whatever. And sometimes they're releasing a little bit every few days or weeks or months. But the end goal of those release and the end goal of the big release is that every time, and you can go and check me out, every time it's happening, there is a big dump in the market, which means the project, whatever it is, doesn't matter which one, is dumping. It's dumping because everybody racing to the bottom. And it makes sense because there is in psychology, there is something called game theory, the prison dilemma, which means when user behind the dump, when user behind vesting time and other user behind vesting time, they're both thinking between themselves, should I hold, which is benefit me, or should I dump because I think the other user will dump too? And every one of them think the same. And because they're all assuming that the other guy will dump first, they basically try to dump beforehand. And that's why all the project really crashing when the vesting is over, or even when you're releasing 5% or 10% in the beginning or during the time, it's enough to crash the token. The Damper Shield designed in a different way. Number one, how long you're behind the Damper Shield, it's not us to the detriment. It's basically depend on the user. They can vote to extend it or to make it shorter. They can release themselves right away if they like to. It's all votable. And by the way, Degen was behind the Damper Shield. It was expired, and the user themselves vote to extend the time for even more. And why they did that? They did that because they know that they can drive liquidity behind the Damper Shield, and I'll explain in a second how, without hurting the price. Because if you have a big amount of token and you go to the market with small fish, they will dump 50% below the market just to make $100 profit, right? So they don't really big holder, but they don't mind to lose $50 just to do 50x on their dollar investment, right? So big investors do not want it. And that's for when they're voting to extend that. Now, the idea of the Damper Shield is basically to have a flexibility, not just by decentralized OTC. I will get in to show you more. So when you go in behind the damper shield, you basically will see that there is the OTC exchange and there is the liquidity gateway, right? And the OTC exchange basically designed to allow people to buy from each other the token, but in a way that cannot hurt the token in the market. Because you're behind the damper shield, you don't really interrupt with whatever the price in the market is. So if people basically listing, and when you go to the damper shield, you can either place a bid or an ask to sell. So when people basically placing a bid on an ask, other people can come and basically decide how much they want to buy, right? All of that, some of that. You don't really need to know those people. You don't need to interact with them on some social media. You can place, I want to sell 1 million token or 10,000 token, name your price, or soon it will be ability to follow the market. Whatever the price is, you can say, I want to sell above X% or below 3%, a few percent. And that's it. And people can take fraction of that. They don't have to take it all. And you don't have to relist it. It's automatically relisted for you with the leftover. So you can see here that, for example, for Smart, those are the basically ask orders. Now, I know that, you know, the reason that we have the chat, the Telegram chat, is because I'm using it to get feedback for our team, what's not working, right? So it's very important to me to have a playground that we can test stuff. And when people complain, I take seriously those complaints by see if there is a technical issue behind it or not. So that's why I keep in it. Now, a lot of time people come in those chat and there is a few people that they're very noisy and they're talking a lot of, you know, fad all the time. You can see a lot of fad. Hey, when we can flip our token, when we can sell our token, once it's going to launch, when it's going to launch. I mean, I never met investor that invest in startup and say, where's the IPO? Where's the IPO? When investor investing in startup, first they know that it's not run of one day. They know it's basically can take a few years. Second, they know that 98% of the startup fail. So they take it under consideration when it comes to risk. And third, they all the time care about when you're going to start to generate income stream. Because once you have an income stream, that means that there is client, that means that whatever you're selling is needed, that means it can start to be scalable. Nobody think about who is going to buy me out. Of course, it's the end goal for investors, but that's not what they are driving themselves when they try to support their own startup. And in our group, there is a lot of, not a lot, but a small group, very noisy one, that doing a lot of noise about it. And I decided a long time ago that I don't want to ban anyone. I never banned anybody before. I decided to give to other investor, big investor, the control over the Telegram. And if they think it's okay with me. If they think that those guys hurting the project and risking their own investment, they can do whatever they like, including ban them out. So I'm ignoring those noise and let people the freedom of speech to do whatever they want and take decision if they're okay with that or not. That being said, I just want to show you the reality, because when you have a small group of people doing noise all day long, you do not see the majority that it's silent, right?
Yeah, but Yoda, I mean, the thing is, bro, is that it's not just a small group of people. A lot of people wrote this stuff off already because it's already been 2 years since they got into it. And I mean, we're talking about, you know, transparency. When we originally got in, which my group invested over $500,000 with you, we were told that it was going to launch within a few months. I understand, you know, the holdback and everything that happened, but you know, at some point, there's got to be transparency with all the investors saying, okay,
all right,
you guys.
So let's cover. It's part of our covering what's happened and what's going to happen, right? So you need to understand that when we basically start to build stuff and we raise the money. And by the way, today we never raise money anymore for project that under building. We decided that we don't want to do it anymore. We decided that first we'll finish to build the project completely, test it out, and only then raise money for that in order to do marketing. But we no longer raising money to build something. So bottom line, when we built Smart, right, and Smart back then, the MVP was exist at the time of the fundraising, if everybody recall. there was a long journey basically to keep going over barriers that wasn't clear from the get-go. But that being said, there is a separate when project going live to when the token going live. They are not correlated, right? Because when you have a token, you basically need two stuff. Either you need to have a good momentum that in the market there is a bull run and everybody bullish on almost every token that is out there and they're pumping that, or you have a business that's generating income stream and you're basically driving some of that income stream in order to buy back the token and keep pumping that. Now, a lot of token in the market working in the wrong way. I mean, the wrong way when you're looking on long destination. Some of them selling equity. And it's ridiculous because if somebody buying an equity from a company that is supposed to be decentralized, that means that this person cannot vote with his shareholders, shares. He cannot vote on the smart contract, right? And he cannot engage with the money because if the money is digital, somebody as an intermediate need to touch the money and transfer it to you. So it's not really decentralized. Second, if you're selling token, and most of the projects in the world selling tokens, it's also wrong because if you're looking on Uniswap, Uniswap, for example, is a good example for solid business, right? They have basically user selling stuff and buying stuff all year long. If it's a bear market, they're buying. If it's a if it's a bull market, they're buying. If it's a bear market, they're selling. So they're generating all year long fees, right? Let's say $1 billion a year fees, and they're giving 80% of that fees back to LPs. But basically, there is no correlation between this beautiful business to the unit token. Which means if the market goes down, unit token may crash 50%, 70%, whatever, but nobody counting that it's a running business that's running $1 billion income stream. Now, if they will do what we do, which is basically not token and not equity, what we're doing is basically that instrument that is different type of token, which is royalty, which means every time there is a dollar coming in the door, we take percentage of that and not 5% or 20% or 50%. We take 80% of the growth, not net growth. We're taking 80% of the income stream and using it to buy the token from the market, which means it's pumping it and then removing it from the circulation. So it's like double down, right? And by doing it like that, if the business is truly needed and it's truly useful for the user, and that's the key. If you have a business that is not useful, you will do 5x, 20x, 40x, 100x from $5,000 to $50,000, but it's a fiction. I saw a lot of people launching tokens during the bear market with $5,000 or $10,000 or $20,000 liquidity and bumping it to $300,000 and claim that they had 40x, right? But when you have 40x and the business does not continue, that means that if somebody made 40x, the next guy cannot make 40x, and the last guy definitely lost 40x. Because it's a zero-sum game. Somebody needs to pay the price, which means if you don't have a business that's selling and people keep buying and keep paying for fees to keep running the oil and the gas to keep pumping the business, that means that is a pyramid scheme. One guy made 100x, the other guy lost his entire money, right? And most of the project basically pump and dump scheme by a few months or few days or few weeks, depending what are they. So it makes sense that if you just try to flip a coin, go copy something, call it banana swap, launching it on different chain, and then take profit after a few days and walk away. But it's not going to survive. It's not a business. It's not going to survive. And what we did, the royalty token, basically say if we have a business that's really working, and that's the key, then the income stream, the 80% of that go by to the token holders, right? In real time, not distribution, like in real time, they are coming in, 80 cents going to investor right away. And that's the business model, and that's the entire magic of all our projects. Now, that being said, if you're looking on the reality of the Dumper Shield, so for example, you can see here that the people that list opportunity for sale, even though there was a 60 transaction with almost 3 million tokens sold already, but you can see that less than 1% of the holders actually list for sale their tokens, right? So there is no like 2%, 5%, 10%, 20% that you say, oh, a lot of people selling it. Minority of the people actually selling it. Now, if you're diving in to see how much they're selling it, you can see that the majority of them selling it above the purchasing price. So if the purchasing price, let's say, is 1 cent, because by the end of the year, you're supposed to get the bonus token, you can see that the majority selling it on 4x, 5x, 3x more than what they bought it for. And you can see there is no much even supply, right? So obviously some of the people that not only listing for sale, some of them listing to buy, right? So you can see here some guy want to spend $5,000, almost $6,000 to buy token, but he's looking to have a deep discount, right? But people do not agree with that. A lot of people say, oh, no, thank you, right? So when you see people in the group, in the chat, yelling about, hey, when the token will be launched, what that mean? Let's say today I'm open a liquidity pool and list the token, right? What will happen? Whoever is a fast finger will dump, right? Whoever not will basically stay behind, and there is no buy pressure, there is no bull market. So that's it. That's it. What? We try to satisfy 5% of our token holders and punish the other 95%. And also, after we finish to raise the money, in the end of 2021, the bear market start. So it doesn't even make sense to basically launch a token during a bear market if there is no basically income stream starting to the project to support that during the bear market. So you need to be reasonable about, first, do we have not working product? Do we have a product that people like? Is it good? Is it solving an issue? Is it solving a pain? People need it. Is it generate income stream that can support and come and basically buy the token out and burning and increase the value? If we don't have this part, what is it that we have? Nothing, right? So this is the main part to focus on. Now, I don't know how to tell you that, but there is no way that, at least I never saw something like that before. There is no way that there is any startup in the world that being created and from the get-go, whatever you said, become to be, holy moly, right? A unicorn. No, a lot of projects have to be changed. I mean, Uber wasn't Uber, YouTube wasn't YouTube, Airbnb wasn't Airbnb, Facebook wasn't Facebook, LinkedIn wasn't LinkedIn, Google wasn't Google. There is no way that you cannot pivot. It's part of the game. And if some of you ever invest in startup or understand startup, you know that when you're fundraising money, you not only need to have a runway, you also need to have a buffer for pivots, because sometimes it takes 2, 3, 4 pivots to find what works in the market. And that's what we did. We fundraised money not only to have enough money to pivot and developing, but also we used that money in order to build extra project around the ecosystem. So all the projects that we have, not just the Dumper Shield, which is basically, by the way, I didn't talk about the gateway, which is extremely powerful tool of the Dumper Shield. So the idea of the gateway beside the OTC is that, let's say you have a token in the market that is trading on Uniswap or PancakeSwap or whatever, right? And obviously now everybody can come and add the token here to the Dumper Shield. It's already been open a few days ago. So once you're adding your token to the Dumper Shield, imagine that is trading, let's say, on the market for $1, right? So what the gateway is doing, the gateway is basically taking the orders that other people placing or you by yourself placed, and then is driving them out of the Dumper Shield, which means there is a technology that go to Uniswap, PancakeSwap, SushiSwap, all those places, taking your token and selling that over there and drive money to you. And the way that he's doing it in a very smart way, because it's not just take your token and dump it on the market and crash the market price for everybody else. What he's doing is waiting for appreciation, which means if the token in the market is $1, but tomorrow it's become to be $1.10, which means 10% appreciation, then the gateway will take some of your tokens, sell it into the market, but you will reduce that appreciation by 50%, which means to $1.05. So what that means, it's always going to allow the token in the market to keep appreciating, but every day will take a little bit of the liquidity that exists in the market from appreciation, and it will drive it to basically to the Dumper Shield to buy out the biggest dumpers, wherever is the biggest dumper and is the bigger risk for the token, the community, it will be bought first, right, and removed from the Dumper Shield. Now, in the Dumper Shield, there is one more thing I want to cover because it's also important for you, which is something called positions. So what that means is that when you have in the Dumper Shield, and by the way, Dumper Shield also going to have virtual vaults soon. So unlike the guy that parked $5,000 or $6,000, he actually parked money. With the virtual vault, you don't need to. You can put money in your virtual vault and you can place as many orders that you like. It doesn't cost you anything. And only when your order gets accepted, then your money will be in use. So that will allow you to place a lot of order with the same money. And we have positions in the Dumper Shield, first, second, and third position. What that means is that if somebody investing in Smart, it will be first position, right? If somebody bought a token, it will be first position. But if somebody relocate, right? Let's say somebody transfer from Smart to Degen, from Degen to PDO, from PDO to Dumper Shield. If somebody moving between all our tokens, it will be able to move with the same face value. Now, why it's important? It's important because if you invest in a project that we built, I talked a few minutes ago that building something that people need is priority number one. Generate income stream is priority number two, right? But you do understand that it's not make sense, absolutely not make sense, that all our projects are going to make it. It's impossible. 98% of the startups fail. So you cannot accept that if we have 10 or 20 projects, that all of them will be successful. It's impossible, right? So what happens if you invest in the wrong project? Let's say you bought a token of Smart and it did great, but whoever invested in Degen did wrong, or whoever buy PDO did it better. What happened when suddenly one of the projects become to be a unicorn, but the one that you invest in not? Or what happened that you invest in a unicorn and your project become to be 100 or 1000x, but there is no enough daily liquidity, right? The fact that you made money on paper doesn't mean that you can exit immediately, right? What if there is not enough liquidity in the market for you to exit? So the idea of the router will allow you to move, to relocate your token between all our projects. So if you suddenly see a NFT token or Dumper Shield token that is about to boom and you think that it's better for you to change position, you'll be able with the same face value, right, of whatever your token is, to basically burn it and get a new token into that new project, but you will come as a second position. What that means is that when the gateway will drive liquidity to user behind the Dumper Shield, it will first satisfy the first position. Think about it like in the real world, it's called like in the stock, right? When you have stock in the company, think about it like preferred stock. They will be satisfied first because they invest in that project, but whoever transfer from different project will be right after them as a second position. And once we will do marketing, and we have a big plan to do marketing and give away token and compensate people and do farming, it will be unfair to place those people that receive token for free in the same position that those that actually bought it for money. And therefore, there will be number three, there will be third position. So what that means is that it's not really hurting those that invest in that project because they will satisfy first and exit first, but it will allow you to relocate between all those projects, which means if we have a 10 or 20 project and even one of them will become to be a unicorn, that means that you will have an exit strategy. If one of them will be a unicorn, you even can pull the other alongside with them. But I want to be clear that we are working very hard, barely sleeping, in order to create something that people need, in order to pursue the goal of generate income streams. So the product will have kind of a buy pressure to buy the token, but none of them guarantee the success of the project at the end. There is still bad statistic in many ways down the road, and it's not easy to create a winner. But once we'll create that, will allow you to basically move between the winners as much as you want it, right? So basically, that's the idea of the Dumper Shield, right? So we cover basically what is the new Smart. So the new Smart is basically Layer 2 virtual wallet. And also people ask about what's the plan, when the token himself going to be launched. Now, beside the Dumper Shield that preventing for people to dump the token, we have another technology that we built, which is basically called DREX, Decentralized Regulation Exchange, which is basically the first of its kind decentralized regulation exchange in the world. We spend a lot of time to build it in order to make sure that you will come with circuit breakers, which mean when you basically launching that, there is bond structure instead of token, there is a decentralized regulation with circuit breakers and secure protection to protect your money when people interact with that. Now, one of the things that we decided to do 3 weeks ago 2 or 3 weeks ago, we decided that all the technology that we built in order to create a DREX, we decided why the heck are we going to build a DEX which is better than other DEXs instead of doing piggybacking on the best DEX in the world. And again, like we pivot smart, and we don't want smart anymore to do cross-chain, but we want it to be on top of all the cross-chain in the market and expedite them. Same thing with DREX. So DREX will become to be basically a layer 2 for Uniswap version 4. So some of you heard about Uniswap version 4. It's a new layer that will allow basically development on top of Uniswap, which means the pools will belong to Uniswap, the security will be audited by Uniswap, the liquidity will drive from Uniswap, but basically layer on top of that will be able to be built in the way that the developer interesting. And we already finished to build everything in a way that will allow to have circuit breakers and secure floor and dynamic fees and damper shield protection building. So what I mean by that is that once we will launch our token, or actually once Uniswap version 4 will be live, right now it's under testing that, but they give us an access in order to work with that and develop the DREX. So once they're going to do that, probably before the bull market will start, once they will go live with version 4, I don't think there will be a chance for other DEXs. I don't know how many DEXs going to survive. I don't think many. I think there will be very few, right? That maybe 2, 3, 4 that will compete, but I think the rest of them, especially the copy-paste version 2 that exists out there, I think they're gone. I think they're rest in peace. So I think you will see a lot of movement for people building on top of Uniswap, and we already finished to build it. And right now we communicate with them in order to do testing. So the moment that they will do that, we'll do a lot of PR and everything. So DREX is the first of its kind, the world's first layer 2 on top of Uniswap version 4, which means from day one, there will be tons of liquidity on DREX, but there will be circuit breakers that will allow basically to the LP to decide how to control the pool from surprises and dumping and everything. A lot of moving parts that basically kind of changing the game of how everything being created in the DEX world, right? It's really something new that never been done before. So that's the idea of what we're building. See if I can show you here. I think you want me to go to testnet. Yeah, so basically this technology is different than a regular DEX, right? It's not the same like regular DEX that you had liquidity or working with that, because you have a circuit breakers that allow to have maximum slippage per transaction, maximum slippage per day, or if there is a big dumping, there is fluctuation with the dynamic fees that preventing that. There is no front running attack. It's really superior technology. And if you think about it, I think somebody compared the crypto market to the New York Stock Exchange 1920s, you know, the big dump. And I think what happened that changed the game with the stock market was the circuit breakers. That's what really changed the game in the market and make it more sustainable. So those circuit breakers will change the game when it comes to DEXs and how they operated. And like I said, it's first of its kind, layer 2 on top of Uniswap. Let's see what else we need to cover. By the way, when it comes to marketing, I have to say that when we raise money, we didn't take under consideration marketing. We took under consideration biz development, but not marketing, because originally our plan was to be B2B, which means basically to give licensing for other projects. But then we realized, oh, and another thing that we thought is that whoever invests kind of was obligated to contribute to the project and help out, right? People say back then, hey, I will help, be hands-on, I will bring added value. Guess what? I can count on my 2 hands how many basically people really help us, and the other majority of the investor never moved the finger. So I'm not going after them and say, hey, you promised, but that's reality, right? It's hitting you in the face. So helping that been promised as part of the investment never took place. That being said, when we want to offer for people to basically to have a licensing, we also realize that projects do not want to take a license for something that they don't know yet if it's working. Think about it. Nobody wants to clone Uniswap when it's just started. But once it proves himself, suddenly everybody wants it, right? So we realized that we have to basically promote our own project as a B2C as well in order to show that it's working. So since we had a budget for BizDev, but not marketing, we basically doing two stuff. Number one, right now we are hiring 20 people for the BizDev. It doesn't mean that we'll keep 20 people. In the world of the BizDev, a lot of people coming with a lot of promising, exactly like other people. And we'll hire 10 people for PDO, 10 people for the Damper Shield in order to drive basically project to use it. And then out of those 10 of each project, we will basically decrease and decrease until we'll end up with one of two per project to stay for long term. So it's kind of a take a big group and see who is the best to keep for long term. Same thing we will do with Smart. We'll basically take a big group of BizDev and basically try to promote it to collaboration, and then end up with one of two that will stay as a full-time to support that. We don't have a marketing budget, but we do have a PR budget, and we have a BizDev budget that we took under consideration. We have a project that we built, which is first of its kind, DeFi for NFT, right? It's something new that never been seen before, and we're about to do fundraising for that very soon. And the goal of that money will be basically to use as a marketing for the entire ecosystem of quantum finance, smart, degen, and everything else. So our next basically fundraising will be focusing only on marketing and not development anymore. Now we have enough money to build all the projects that we plan. We have enough money to do pivots. We took under consideration 3 to 5 pivots for those projects, so it's reasonable. We took it on, and by the way, I don't know if some of you understand the numbers, but when you're building a project that is a copycat, sometimes you need a few weeks to a month or two to copy, right? When you're building something new, sometimes you need 6 to 12 months just to have it up and running, but then see if you need a pivot, it may take another 3 to 6 months. So when you're doing 3, 4 pivot, having something over 2, 3 years, it's completely reasonable, right? Now that's for the project. And when the bull market will start, it's reasonable to have the token launch. For example, Cardano launched the token during the bull market, even though the tech is not ready yet, but they had the bull market behind them to basically drive the momentum. So when there is a bull market, it's a good time to launch token. Doesn't matter if your project is ready or not. And if you have income stream for the project, then you can obviously open the door and launch token even during a bear market, because there is income stream that buying the token out and driving the appreciation and the demand of that token. So that's the plan for development and marketing. We also built a huge reward program. I'll show it here, that it will be up and running once everything was started. So it's basically a development of D-vouchers, like bronze, gold, silver, platinum, that when people go in between projects, let's say you go to PDO project, will be able to basically to do tasks like tweet and register it and join to the Twitter and everything. So there will be tons of tasks, and there will be lotteries, and it will be competition and group reward and staking reward and referral reward. So there will a lot of moving part when it comes to that type of marketing, because this marketing is something that we can do because it's development, we build it, then it's working automatically, versus take money and just give to influencer. We tried that stuff. We try even Cointelegraph. We spend a lot of money in Cointelegraph in the last year or two. There is no really good result. You need to either come with tons of money, but I never saw good marketing whatsoever unless you're actually helping your token to boost of somebody else. If you have a project and you help other projects, and let's say you have a marketplace and project listing you, and because of your unique marketplace, the token boom to the moon, that will make your name. Suddenly everybody will want you. If you have a token that people are using and generate income stream, and they buy the token, and there is a buy pressure all the time, right? I think Chainlink have that method, by the way, that they're using the income stream to drive their own token. That's why we see the token, even when the bear market goes down, you can see that they're still keeping their position and not crushed completely, right? But most of the project in the world doesn't have it, right? Ethereum have it, right? Ethereum income stream, using it as a buyback and everything. But most of the project in the world is just speculation, casino. They don't really correlate the business models. So we have a lot of stuff that we built. Right now, if I'm starting to cover questions, by the way, right now we have a lot of projects that already completed. So for example, we just sent yesterday, the PDO, yeah, the Dumpster, sorry. We sent yesterday, no, sorry, the PDO. We sent the PDO project. We sent it for auditing yesterday in order to start the auditing for the PDO. Since I didn't talk about PDO, a few words about it, because a lot of people do not familiar with the PDO. There is a lot of scale. There is a lot of launch pad in the market that helping project to launch the token, but there is no scale pad, which means once the token is live, nobody really helping those projects to increase liquidity, to increase the value of the token, to basically provide more support to the team as ongoing. And the PDO is basically the first of its kind scale pad that we completely build it. Right now it exists on Binance, Uniswap, Eritreum, and Ethereum, right? Ethereum, I think, launched yesterday. So we have it on all the four, and we have a team, developer teams, that will start to drive project to that in order to push it. And this is something that all our projects are going to use. Not only that it's our own project, and there is PDO token, but also our own project like Smart and Degen, and all our project will be basically running PDO on the scale pad, which means people will be able to keep scaling the project on an ongoing basis and not only during the launch pad. So as you can see here, there is a lot of building, a lot of project been built, including LP insurance to support LP that will continue to add liquidity to the pools. There is a lot of moving parts. I don't want to dive into each one of them, but my point is that all those parts working standalone, but also working together and support each other, which means we can launch any project by himself, and that's fine, but it may help for the project to basically utilizing all those tools in order to do better. And obviously, whatever we're building for other projects as well. When it comes to communication with the groups, so I told that I'm using the social media in order to give to the team, to the development team, feedbacks. And every time there is an issue, we move in it to them and we make sure that they understand the issue and fix it. But we're also going to implement into our pools, sorry, not pools, into our chat and Discord, and that's going to be open in a few days. We're going to implement a new AI that we developed that will allow people to basically ask questions, and that will drive some real-time answers from our most recent information. So that can be another added value for the Telegram and the Discord. But you will also basically will learn as it goes. So if somebody give an answer and the admin say, yeah, that is correct, then the AI will learn that that's the correct answer, and it will continue to use it as an information. We also build our own PR, automated PR technology, which means I will show you here. So see if I can open that. So what we did, we kind of open Telegram and share. Share screen. Okay. So what we did, we built basically kind of an AI that go to Coin desk and take the information. And by the way, the information here is a summary of the news plus bullish and bearish conclusions. So you immediately can see what's the bearish and the bullish conclusion of every news. You can still go to the news themselves and open it, the original Cointelegraph, but it comes as a summary of what's going on in the market. So we wanted to have a place that people will have a summary and maybe it will integrate later on, but also we will use that information in order to automate PR, which means every time there is in the news something that, for example, I think today and yesterday in the news, there was multi-chain, right? So that's a good example. So there was a multi-chain crash that basically been hacked $130 million, right? So every time there is a news that is correlated to whatever we're building, any solution or project that we have, immediately our AI will basically generate a response and tweet it on our Twitter. So it will be immediately hit the market with response about the problem and our solution. So that's something that we built. We even been approached by other projects that say, hey, can we utilize that? So we will allow other projects to utilize it too for themselves. But the idea is basically to have automated PR that not only the PR agency that we have, which is the top in the market, but also automated PR, which means every time something in the news happening, we want immediately to have a response why we think our technology can solve that and do better. So as you can see, we're kind of preparing a lot of stuff during the bear market. We built a lot of stuff. Most of them you don't even see here, but I covered the relevant for that session. And the idea of the bear market is basically prepare ourselves like to the battle. Imagine yourself that the moment that the bull market will start, we don't have time to build. During the bull market, we need to run, push. So we need all those projects, we need all this ammo, we need all this PR, we need all this marketing, we need all those biz day. So it's kind of a momentum that you build. And the moment that the bull market coming, boom, you're pushing into the market at once and basically try to make it as higher and longer as possible. Again, there is no guarantee which project are going to do better than others. But once you line up everything and prepare yourself fully like we did, I think it will kind of bring us the best result that we can have at the end, right? So let me remove the Telegram for a second. And then I'll go back to the screen. So basically, we are working nonstop, right? We're building a lot of stuff. Every project has its own team. Sometimes projects have between 5 to 7, 5 to 9 people that working around it. So it's a huge team. We have like a lot of project going on. So we're talking about 50 plus people in the team just working around it. And now we're going to add another 20 for BizDave and another 10 for the Smart. So it's like 30 people that we will add and all this technology and automate it. So it's a lot of stuff going on here. Now, let me see what other questions we had in the AMA. I can cover them too. Okay. So, all right. So the first question was that there is no even single functionality product yet. And as I showed, the DampShield and the PDO and the LP insurance and the DGen, they all fully function. Even Smart now as an alpha beta is function, but not fully. And then the second the question was, give us a date. So let's talk about two dates, right? There is a date when project go live, and there is a date when the token go live. So when it comes to the project, I don't want to give a date. I want if the project is ready, even as an alpha or beta, I want to release. I don't want date. I want people to start using it immediately as soon as possible. So like we operate right now, the Smart is not fully functional, but it's function. And every day we'll continue to improve that. I want it to be out there and I want to get feedback from people. So when it's come to using the project, instantly. When it's come to have the token himself launch, right? We decided a few months ago that we don't want to hold tokens. We want to give them to the users as a self-custody, because some of the syndication groups that syndicate money for those users go under. Some of them not exist. They still need to solve for some group issues that whoever lead them is not there anymore, and need to still figure out how to help them out. And we decided that we don't want to be in scenario that more users get burned because of their syndication. So we give those tokens as a self-custody. They're not yet launched, but they're behind the damper shield, which means the timing behind the damper shield already started. Which means, if you remember, 12 months, originally 12 months, sorry, 90 days staking plus 12 months, right? That's what it was. So, by the way, if we done from the first get-go, the moment after we finish to raise money, if we will do 90 days and 12 months, that means that everybody's supposed to go to the market at once in the middle of last year, the middle of the bear market, which means that could be a disaster, right? When everybody going together to the market during a bear and there is no buy pressure, there is no project generate income stream. So that can drive the token all the way to the ground, absolutely kill it. So the idea, actually, the smart thing that we did is not to launch. It's very smart, because the token basically didn't go under whatever is behind the damper shield I showed you. Whoever asking to buy from somebody else 90% discount, there is barely people that willing to sell for that. Most of them selling 2-3x above whatever they bought for. So it's very minority, but still you saw 3 million tokens already been bought by 60 transactions by people to people, right? Project will be launched immediately as soon as it's ready. And then the token himself, we want to launch it either by when we have an income stream that we can use it as a buy pressure, or the moment that the market is ready, when the market becomes to be bullish. Now, I know that right now it seems like we already finished the bear market. It seems like we kind of starting to look into the bull market. Everybody have assumption. I talk with a lot of people. I get different answer for people what they're thinking. Everybody thinking different date when the market will start to be bullish. But I think we're no longer to see a big dump. I think we're going to get flat a little bit, sideways, and maybe it's going to start to be built from here. So I will say that we are kind of get closer and closer. From my perspective, even if I want to launch today, I still need to wait for Uniswap version 4 for the token. So because we build on top of them, so we need them to basically open the version 4. They're about to do that very soon. So I don't know if it takes a month or two, but they're kind of on the finale to finalize the version 4 to be open. They by themselves want to hit the market before the bull run will start, and we're doing piggybacking on top of them. So it kind of will be on the same time. So I can say that I think we will hit the market with the tokens once Uniswap version 4 will go live, which will be before the bull run. And let's see what other questions we had here. So people ask about how much basically money remained and stuff. So like I say, I want to explain something that's very important. We have a kind of a royalty tokens, right, which allow people that hold our tokens to enjoy from the income stream and everything. But we do not have traditional tokens. Traditional tokens, they are more like equity tokens and share tokens and basically ownership tokens. Now, what is the problem? The problem is that we are a US company, right? We're not European. We are a US company. And in US company, you are subject to regulation. And we need to make sure a lot of stuff. So, for example, one of them is discrimination. We cannot prefer one user over another. We have to give fair everything for everybody. So when we change the capacity of how many tokens we're going to have originally in the smart, that basically diluting people, which means hurting them. So we had to go back to people and say, listen, we're no longer going to have X amounts of token, we're going to have more, which means you're going to get diluted. Do you want to stay or do you want a refund? And we refund back then when we changed the rules, millions of dollars, right? Not question asked. We didn't ask. People ask the money, we send the money back, no question asked. And whoever left, there was some people that basically start since then until today to ask a refund. We don't offer a refund unless we basically change the contract and say, okay, you no longer have one token, you have now half a token, right? So if you bought something, a product, if you bought a TV from Samsung and they gave you, instead of TV, they gave you a chair, yeah, you're eligible for refund. But if you bought a TV, got your TV, right? Doesn't matter if it's version 2, version 3, or they upgrade the software behind the scene, or the company go IPO or not, that's not affecting your product. So when people buy the product of the tokens, we also need to make sure that there will be no continued discrimination. What that means, we have a lot of projects. And I said before that we allow people to move between the project. And I said before that once you move from project A to project B, we will do that for you. You will do it by yourself, by the way, from the Dumper Shield. You'll be able to do that. But you will not be able to be first position, which means you will not be able to take a place and liquidity that belong to the guy that actually bought a token in that original project that you're moving into. Now, imagine to yourself a scenario that we didn't have that instrument like we have, and we have traditional token, right? Like equity and ownership and stuff. In that case, that can be a disaster because user can go to court and say, hey, I invest money to buy this token. This money being used to build all those projects. Therefore, I want the same percentage of equity or tokens that I have in this project in each one of them, right? So basically, in that scenario, it's very risky because it can cause the scenario that people may want to be placed on first position with the same amount of token on all projects. And that's why we try to be very careful when we're treating users that holding a tokens as a customers, like you're buying a TV or you're buying anything else, and not as a shareholders that we basically, in shareholders, it's different. Shareholders, you sharing their information, financial, different stuff, right? But when you're buying a token, it's different type of class, it's different kind. By the way, I don't know if some of you understand the rule in the United States. Most of the projects that they have tokens, and I'm not talking about security, not security, everybody already know that information since 2017. But once the SEC will finish with security and not security, I can guarantee to you they will move to the next problem. The next problem in the United States, and actually in every jurisdiction in the world, is once we have too many shareholders, let's say above 100 or above 2,000, depending if you're LLC or C corporate, they will force you to be a public company, which means you cannot have a token that's sold to zillion, billion people, because then you become to be a public company. You have to be a public company. So the next problem of crypto project is that their token is basically a security, but not only from security point of view, but also from be a public company point of view. They have to turn to be a public company. With that security, like we have, it's not, which means we don't have a problem. We can welcome unlimited tokens holders because it's not an equity security, it's a debt security, it's a different instrument, right? And we try to keep that line very clear in order not to cross it over. But I can tell you that we have all the money that needed in order to finish the development as we plan it and everything else around it. But we do not have money that we didn't plan for, like marketing. But we try to raise more money and build more tools to overcome that issue. The next
you never raised any money for marketing?
No. We never raised money for marketing. No, our original plan to be only B2B. We originally B2B and not B2C.
What happened with the one when you said in the past that there was like $1 million program with Cointelegraph that you were going to do or something?
No,
like that?
We said that we have in the middle of a deal structure to try to Cointelegraph try to see if they can invest in our project, and then they basically been disrupted with all the bear market and everything. But their plan was to basically contribute $1 million value of articles and covering for our project. We still have a deal with them, right? We will do that, but it will not be $1 million. It will be less because they try to come up with rules that will create discrimination between what they want versus what you got, and we cannot allow discrimination. So that's an issue. Every time if we will do a discrimination, it's open the door to big issues, and we don't want to be in that position. So the next question was, let's see. I think the next question is that what's the plan for the marketing? So we talked about that. We took the utility token. So our tokens basically is a royalty token, like I explained. So the income stream basically go and buy the token from the DREX, pumping the price, and then move it out of the circulation. So it's like a double down that increase the value of the token to the left holders. The next question: why not listing the Digen? So basically, like I said, we will list the Digen on DREX, which is basically Uniswap, the new version 4. Once we'll do that, we're also going to do PancakeSwap, and we may open other chain as well. By the way, I know that some of our tokens are like Smart and Digen, and even PDO, they are on Binance Smart Chain. We're not going to stay on Binance Smart Chain. We're going to move away from Binance Smart Chain because it's become to be really not supported network for us to have the token on. So we will probably have ability for people to from the Dumper Shield, you will be able to like using the gateway to move between projects, you will be able to basically send your token from Binance Smart Chain, get the same token on Polygon or Arbitron by click of a button. It's still going to be behind the Dumper Shield, but one click you'll be able to switch the token to different network. So we are not going to do manually work, because with manually work and distribution there is a lot of missing. I don't want to do it anymore. It's requiring a lot of attention to make sure that everybody got exactly like they need, and manual work always can go wrong. So I try to build everything automatically so people will do it by themselves. People ask when kind of MVP will be released. So as you can see, we already released the Smart Exchange. And by the way, Smart Swap, which it was the brand, is now Smart Exchange, Smart.exchange. So that will be basically the brand Smart, but Exchange, not Smart Swap. And it's already as an MVP available on downloading as an extension to your browser right now. The next question was salaries of developers. Again, we are not going to get into how much salaries we pay to our developers and who they are. We already suffered 3 years ago, I think, yeah. 3 years ago, we kind of bought people to Zoom calls, and we share who they are, and they've been start to reach out by other projects. Believe it or not, there is a lot of crypto projects in the market, but there is no many crypto project developers that know what they're doing in the market. A lot of them copycat, a lot of them doesn't know even what they're doing, they just copy that. We have developers that kind of, been paid X amount, and suddenly they've been offered like 200,000 and 250,000, and we had to go and beat that offers in order to keep them. So it's crazy competition. If you have a good developer, good leader, people want him. And we don't want to lose our team for somebody that's offering another back for them. By the way, how much? The next question is if the extension will be 75% functionality ready. It's not 75%. It's actually, if I can guess numbers, I would say 25 right now, because there is still the Vault need to be developed, the apps that need to be added, the AI that need to be added, the expedite that need to be added. So there is more to do, but we keep doing it. But every day we'll keep adding more and more. We also work with the stores like the Google Store in order to approve, because you know how they're sensitive, the App Store, Google Store, they're really sensitive when it comes to cryptocurrency. So we try to work with them in order to stay in their guideline, how to do that in the based on their regulated, and they give us feedback back and forth until it been approved. So in what order the project in the ecosystem will be released? There is no really order. Whatever is ready is out. So PDO is ready, Dumper Shield is ready, Digen is ready, now NFT and LP insurance and DREX, the kind of about to be ready and go live too. So whatever is ready, we open it. The next question. Somebody said that Smart Swap and Digen Swap not needed in the space since other projects like Uniswap solve those stuff, and there is a cost chain. The next question is also similar. Polygon 2.0, that is unified liquidity. I totally agree. That was my conclusion a few months ago. I got to the same conclusion that since we built decentralized cross-chain and everybody else didn't really care about cross-chain decentralized, they just build a cross-chain centralized or hybrid. They basically moved to the market faster and gain more traction. And now that start with Uniswap version 4 and Unified Polygon and other, it seems like all those a lot of DEXs out there probably not going to survive. There will be very few that are going to survive. I totally agree with that. That's why we change and pivot our business model. Sorry, not business model. Our tech solution. So instead of being a cross-chain, we basically now become to be a layer 2, right? First of its kind layer 2 virtual wallet, which means we now on top of every DEXs, we're on top of every decentralized exchanges. Cross-chain. So even if you have cross-chain and DEX out there, it will work above them as a layer, like an umbrella. And it's not even require security because it's driving the same security that you have from your own wallet, MetaMask or Trust Wallet. And when it comes to Polygon, I do believe that there is a way that if Polygon will want to lead the other chain on Ethereum, there is a way how to simplify the cross chain between the same chain, like same network, like Ethereum. They can simplify that, make it faster, cheaper. But once they will want to move to Cosmos group or Polkadot group or Bitcoin group or Cardano group or Josh Mo next blockchain group, there will be time delay because have to be, otherwise there will be attack 51%, and therefore expedite will be required. So our need again will be on top of them, and it will provide them better. We're not competing with them anymore. We actually serve them all. If you have a cross chain, we're actually helping your cross chain because we help your user to get, instead of wrap token, to get the end token, and we will use you to get the wrap token and then switch it to the end token. But user do not need to suffer so many clicks and suffer 30-minute, 10-minute, 5-minute time waiting. For him, it will be end of the token that he's looking for and instantly right away, right? The next question is, let's see. So here they're basically asking about how we're going as a strategic going to launch the Smart. So I mentioned that we don't have marketing budget. We have enough money to build it and pivot that, but we do have money for business development. We took it under consideration. We have money for PR. We already paid for that, so we have it under consideration. But we will need to figure out how to raise more money in order to do marketing for the entire ecosystem. But we also use our own solution that we built for marketing, like the program and affiliate program and the reward program, in order to drive marketing. So here another question about if we're expecting to launch token next year. I don't think the bull run will be next year. I think it's going to start before, but I'm not a prophet. I mean, maybe it will start in January, February, maybe we will start in December or November. I don't know. Whenever the market will be ready, and definitely when Uniswap version 4 first will be ready, we can catch that wave and basically have the token ready to go. Obviously, we'll generate income stream, which is not realistic by that short of time. But if we had their income stream coming in the door from the project and can support buyback token and push the token as a buy pressure, we don't need momentum. We can open the token to the market at any time. So here another question about refund. We don't do any refund. We don't have any legal against us in any way or shape. So there was, I can tell you a secret, that there was one investor that invested in different projects, and basically he tried to get kind of better terms than the other investor that we had. And it wasn't a token holder, it was a shareholder in the company, right? Traditional shareholder. And then he sued the company for $1 billion because he thought that he should have ownership over much more than what he bought. But eventually he dropped that. I mean, court also said to him to drop it, but he dropped it. And we welcome him back and give him basically everything that we promised him, but no more than what we actually promised, because nobody should be bullied or nobody should be forced to do anything if it's not from free will. So we will never be bullied or forced, even if it's to go to court or whatever. It's reasonable. But that being said, I can guarantee to you that we may not going to have lawsuit against us now, but once one of our company will be a unicorn, every unicorn in the world have a lawsuit. It's like a hobby. When a lawyer see that you have a unicorn, $1 billion company or more, they definitely want to sue you for whatever, right? Why the sun is not shining in the right direction. So they really want to sue you, and every unicorn, every big company in the Silicon Valley and in the world facing those every day. And that's fine. It's mean that we made it. It's mean that we are large enough. It's mean that people really try to get more than they deserve because they think that there is somewhere to take. So it's a good thing, even though it sounds like it's bad. And we do have budget for attorneys. It's part of the budget plan from the beginning. We have 2 firms that we're working with. So we don't play game with that. If something needed, we went to battle 1. And it's been dropped. We have that budget ready to go. As a backup, it's important that every startup will put budgets like that. The next question is that provide exact date, plus minus 30 days. Again, I cannot provide when the market will become to be bullish. I can say that our project will be launched immediately, the moment that they're ready. But when the token will be launched, it's subject to when the market will start to be bullish. Because if we don't have income stream, we need the market to have momentum as a FOMO, right? Otherwise, what's the point? Launching a token and people dump, but nobody buying, right? It doesn't make sense. And let's see. Again, question about money, how much we have left. So I say we have enough to develop everything that we plan for, but not marketing. And then somebody asked here, I think that was the last question that didn't pop up before I check them out. Somebody asked here about the Twitter. Yeah, we own the Twitter, no problem. And we actually, with the AI that's going to post automatically response by Quantum Finance will be basically, let me see if I can, sorry, actually we want Twitter. The moment that there will be news in a few days, I think next week actually, because we're in the weekend already. But next week we'll start to push to the Twitter, basically news that coming in real time. So we have few Twitter. One of them is for Quantum Finance. You can see here, that's the Quantum Finance Twitter, and that's where we will push basically on daily basis those automatically PR, which I think is going to also doing great because nobody responding so fast as a PR. Today, you need to go to your agency, prepare a response, then until you launch that response, the next few is already hit. So what we'll do is very new and refreshing. Yeah, so I think I covered all the questions. We have 9 more minutes left. So I don't mind if somebody wants to raise his hand and you know, ask me another question or two. We can cover in those 9 minutes. Let's see if anybody raised the hand for more question. Go between with raising the hand. I didn't see anyone raising hand for more questions. Okay. So yeah, so I think we covered. Oh, let me see here in the chat. I think in the chat there was a question. Let me see. When Degen will be traded? That's the question. Degen right now is behind the Damper Shield because investor extend that. So if you go to the Damper Shield, you will be able to obviously buy and sell it from there. And also once the market will become to be bullish, we will definitely open all the tokens to the market to be traded. Subject obviously first to version 4 Uniswap to be ready, because like I said, DRX is piggybacking on top of Uniswap version 4. But if somebody wants to buy or sell basically Degen, you can go to the Damper Shield. Let me get over here to show example. And also the Damper Shield will be, we're working on expedite the time loading, because I noticed that it's also take time to bring all the information to the front. So it's also take time. So that's another thing that we're working on. Then another person asked about Kyle. Is he coming? So Kyle is still part of the company, but is no longer basically active on the fund. And he may going to be active down the road or not. It's depending on how stuff will be developed. Right now, we kind of not doing any marketing or anything else. So we're kind of focusing on development only. Which is the smart thing to do, by the way, during the bear market, is absolutely take all your sources, money and time, and put it on preparing whatever you're building. So when the bull market will start, then you will be ready to go to the market. So Kyle will have a room to come back when the market will be ready, and if he will feel that it's a good position for him, yeah, I think we'll see him again. You said somebody want to buy Degen. The problem is that I think you said nobody, no one will buy. I mean, there is transaction that been made on Degen. Let me see why it's not loading. Let me change channel, go back. There is a lot of transaction that been made on the Damper Shield, including Degen and Smart. I don't have the right exact numbers like we have for Smart that we put here, because we will upgrade that in a few days. But I think the few millions of Degen been bought. The only difference is that if I will open the Damper Shield in a second to show you, it's my sometimes I'm going with VPN because some of the app doesn't work well as United States. So I want to see if it's interfere with our Damper Shield. It's not loading on my end. Probably there is some issue. Try again to load it. But once you will go to the Damper Shield, I don't know if your internet or your connection is loading on your side, but once you will go to the Damper Shield, you'll see that most of the people that list for sale, they own Degen. Look on the prices. There is a chart, there is a candles. You can look on the prices. People asking like way above what they bought it for, right? So obviously, in order to sell something with 10x, 20x more than what you paid for, you need a buy pressure or a lot of FOMO, right, in the market. So I don't see much people selling below the exact amount that they're selling for. Go check the chart. You will see that Degen people asking way above what they asked for, right? What they bought it for. Let's see if we have another question. somebody said that all the project doesn't work well. Yes, so sure. Some of them, they're under development, under processing. So for example, when this one is not loading well, it's another thing to work and see what to do to improve that. Like I said, we do not work in waterfall. We will not build something and after 2-3 years release it. We don't copy something else. After 3 weeks, we can release it. We're building something and releasing it, even if it's not perfect. So since you bought something that belonged to a project in the ground floor, do not expect it to be a unicorn from the get-go. Expect it to be failed, expect it to have a problem, expect it to have challenges, expect it to have a lot of problem from tech point of view, but also marketing point of view. And the project expecting you to provide feedback. That's why you got the permission to buy something on the ground floor in a discount, because your job is to provide feedback, what's not working, how to improve it, what else can be done. And our responsibility is to basically make it happen. Now, if we're working together as a team, you know, it's like a lot of people thinking that, oh, the project need to do whatever they need to do, and we will wait for the magic to happen. It doesn't work like that. I can guarantee to you that if you will not help, the project will go nowhere. It doesn't work like that. You need to contribute. You need to contribute your knowledge. You need to contribute your feedback. You need to contribute your experience. You need to contribute your connection. You need to contribute if you really want to make it happen. We can build the best tech in the world. We can do business development as much as we can. But as a community, if you're not supporting and pushing it all day long, you say, how can we flip a coin? Why it's not open? Why it's not trading? Why are you saying that? Why are you saying why it's not trading? If it's trading today, right now, if I open it for trading, what good with that? What are you going to do? Who is going to buy it from you? If you're going to dump, everybody dump, it will cause a rest to the bottom. It doesn't make sense. So what you need to do is either, if you don't want to be part of this project, you need to walk away. Go to the dumper shield. Believe me or not, those that didn't want to be here, right? 60 transactions, few millions of tokens being sold on each token, they're gone. People bought them all, right? But if you want to stay here, if you want to be part of that, start to go on Telegram and all day long asking the same question, when it's going to be live. Instead, bring partnership. Instead, try to bring connection. Instead, try to contribute your knowledge. Try to test the project. Don't text me here, it's not working. Give me a feedback. What's not working? So I can give it to the dev in order to sell that. I know not everything is working. That's what's the idea of building something and releasing it early to the community so we can test it out and work out to fix it. You are not the customers that coming to a final project. You are early customers that got a special price to buy into the ground floor in exchange, not for your money, but for your money and your added value. That's why you're here. So if you're thinking that is one-way relationship, that we're building something and up is go, I can guarantee to you, do not expect your token to be appreciated. If you want the project to be better and do better, make it do better. Help us, right? It's very important that you will help us in any way that you can help us. So stop asking what we do. Try to contribute something that you can do. So I think we covered everything for today. We kind of summarize all the questions and answer all of them and go by all the project and all the plans. Obviously, people know me that when somebody wants to jump on a call one-on-one, if it's really necessary and need, I all the time take calls. But that being said, I'm very serious. Try to contribute, start to help. Whining is not helping. Why the world is not better? This is your project, like my project, like the team project, like everybody project. Help us to make it better, right? So that's the end of the line. All right, so I hope that you appreciate the call and the covering, and I hope that I cover everything that's needed for you for this time. Like I said, we will break down the videos in a way that it will be useful for people to watch it chapter by chapter for specific subject. All right, that's it for today. Thank you, and good weekend for you all. I'm still working, so it's a regular week for me, but good weekend for everybody else. Bye.